Welcome into the PHNX Daily Bet Show, brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe if you're new, and leave a 5-star review. I'm Shane Diefenbach, joined as always by Johnny Venerable. Hey, Johnny.
Shane, it's a sad day. It's a day of mourning here as we brace for the worst, hope for the best, brace for the worst as it regards Devin Booker's hamstring. I would donate both of my hamstrings, but I have baby hamstrings compared to what Devin's got going on. Early reports suggest he's going to be out 2 games. So how we, decide how we're going to look at the Phoenix Suns and bet on them moving forward, we're going to discuss all that and more. But last night, it's a gut punch. There's no other way around it.
Wow. Johnny?
What?
Today on ASU, I expected the line for the Suns game to go down 3 points because they're on the road. So then it would be 7. And then I gave an extra 2 to 3 points for Devin Booker. So I was expecting it to be 5.5 or something. It's 1 point.
Mm-hmm.
I am blown away. I'm all over that. I just look, what I said today on ASU is what I think. It's ridiculous that people are going crazy over this. Devin Booker is the best player on the Suns for sure.
Yeah.
However, this team was 5-2 without him. The Pelicans are good, but not great. They couldn't miss last night. Throw that game out the window. And also, it is so hard to adjust mid-game when you lose a superstar. When you go into a game knowing that you're not going to have him, it's a completely different story. This team rallies around each other. They're going to be fine. They're going to get out of the first round. Everybody needs to just relax. The 1-point spread on the DraftKings Sportsbook app blows my mind. Johnny, are you all over that right now?
I am. I'm hammering the Suns money line for Game 3. I think it's going to be a Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton type of dominant performance. That's why you have Chris Paul. This is why the Suns are the most complete team in the NBA. They're not top heavy. This isn't Brooklyn, who is Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, or bust. Right? This is a team that won 60+ games for a reason. Pelicans are a nice story, but as you mentioned, that fourth quarter was gross in the best possible way for the Pelicans. Brandon Ingram is playing absolutely out of his mind. I don't expect that to continue. Again, if the reports are true that Booker's going to be out just 2 games, I think if you're the Suns, you take a split, you make it a 3-game series if possible, and you get Devin Booker back and you take care of business. I think they'll be fine.
I think they win both those games.
And the
biggest thing for me is the early reports that I'm hearing is that it's mild. It's a mild,
which is great news.
Hamstrings are weird, sure, but I don't expect it to be a huge problem for the rest of the playoffs. You never know. And I do think if this was the finals, we don't even hear about it. Since this is the first round against the Pelicans, you just don't want to risk anything. If they go down 3-1, they might rush him back. I don't think they will. If they lose the first game, I wouldn't risk it. And especially if they win, go 3-1, I might just set them in Game 5.
Here's the thing: you're not winning a championship without Devin Booker anyway. So to panic and rush him back before the 2-game, precursor is up, I think is foolish. Rely on your superstars. Rely on the depth of this team. Rely on Monty Williams. You can get by without Devin Booker, just like this team got by without Chris Paul during the regular season. It's the flippin' Pelicans, all right? They're a nice story, right? And they had a really nice second half last night. It's an outlier. It's not going to continue.
You're not going to see Herbert Jones and Jose Alvarado unconscious from three like we did last
No.
night. As Monty Williams said last night, that they were hoping that they would miss and not forcing them to miss. And I think that will be adjusted and everything will be fine. Team defense will rally around each other and the Suns will be just okay in New Orleans come Friday. But if you want to watch on Friday somewhere with some friends, you can head over to the Ainsworth. It's going to be a good time. We're going to be out there live remote. Doing a show pre and post game. So definitely come out, hang out. It's free. All you got to do is RSVP. It's going to be a really good time. And the one and only Big Sauce will be joining the Suns, Alan Williams. So the Suns crew will have him.
Say Sauce Gardner from Cincinnati showing up?
No. So definitely join us there. It's going to be a really good time. The whole Suns crew will be out there, except for Gerald, obviously, because he will be in New Orleans eating some po' boys and enjoying his time. But before we get into our picks for today, let's talk about what we did last night. Johnny, what did you do last night?
Well, I mean, obviously the Suns losing threw a wrench into everything, but I predicted a huge emotional bounce back game for the Grizzlies. That hit. Goodness, did they win almost by 30 points against the Timberwolves? I actually like that series to go relatively long. I think Minnesota's going to be incredibly feisty. I think they get at least one at home. This series stretches to 6 games minimum. But last night was super predictable. Gambling 101. You lose a game like they did in game 1. You come back with more emotion, more sense of urgency, and that's what we saw from Ja Morant and company.
You know what's crazy? Last night you could have gotten the Grizzlies to win that series before the game started at minus 120.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, and I just didn't get on it fast enough. Now they're minus 240. The Suns, to win their series, are only minus 260. So,
well, I think with a lot of people is the Grizzlies they're new to the postseason scene, right? They're unproven, and so like, is it the craziest thing for a Timberwolves team that has a ton of talent to upend them in the first round? I think we've seen crazier things. Once upon a time, the Mavericks lost in the first round to Golden State as a 1 seed. So, but yeah, that number flipped big time after last night's win.
Yeah, and with Ja Morant, I just don't see, although if the way he's playing, almost a triple double, I think 1 rebound away or whatever it was.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. We'll get into my props from last night before we get into my picks. This was a bit unfortunate. Neither of them hit because Morant couldn't quite get there points wise just because they are winning so much. And Trae Young, my God, he didn't score enough. I think he had like 6 or 7 assists. Didn't eclipse that total, but he had 10 turnovers, Johnny. 10.
It's over for the Hawks. Do we just put this series on ice? I thought this would be one of the better series of the first round. You know how I feel about the Heat. Barf. I don't want to see them in the finals. I think they're overrated. But yeah, they've had 2 dominant showings. I think. Can we just move on to the second round, please?
Yeah, definitely. Ja Morant finished with 23, 9, and 10. He was 1 rebound away from a 20-point triple-double. That series is over as well, I think.
Over.
And then my picks from yesterday, Grizzlies first half did hit. The Heat didn't pull away until later, which was a little strange.
Yeah.
But hey, it happens. Not a great day for the boys, but we bounced back. We bounced back in a big way. So I'm excited for the slate today. I really like it. But if you want to get in on the action, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. Use that promo code PHNX when you sign up. You bet just $5 on any of the team to win their game in the NBA playoffs. Get $150 in free bets, win or lose. It's safe, it's secure, it's reliable. And if you're not a new customer, you can use the same game parlay feature, get $10 back in a risk-free bet if your first same game parlay loses of the day. So, throw some fun bets out there. If you would have had Devin Booker to hit 7 threes in the game, I would have netted you some nice money. But for some reason, he can't hit more than 7. It just blows my mind. I said this at halftime. I almost took, if I could have, a live player prop of Devin Booker to not hit another 3 for the rest of the game. Couldn't find it. And that was obviously not expecting injury. It's just something that happens. He just can't eclipse 7 threes. He just can't do it. He's hit 7 threes in the first half before, and he just never gets to 8.
How many would he hit 50 points had he stayed in the game the entire
second
half?
Look, the injury upsets me because of the Suns and their playoff hopes and championship hopes, blah, blah, but it more upsets me because of the legendary night we were taken away from. Devin Booker dropping 50 points in a dominant win to go up 2-0. And just kind of put the series away, basically. I think it would have been, plus the baby thing. It just would have been phenomenal. The Suns get out of the series. Everyone will remember that moment and not remember the injury. But weirder things have happened. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. Use our promo code PHNX. We sign up, bet you $5 on any NBA team to win their game. Get $150 in free bets if they do or don't. Doesn't matter. With promo code PHNX this week at the DraftKings Sportsbook app, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. That's 21 plus, Arizona only. Gambling problem, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only, minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Johnny, the Nets are finally playing today.
Thank
Are
God.
you
It's like Christmas
excited?
morning. It's like Christmas morning when the Nets play. My favorite team outside of Phoenix for obvious reasons. Love the dysfunction, love the chaos. And they had that game 1 in Boston the other night. Listen, I still think they're going to win this series. I think they're going to win tonight handily. This is one of my biggest locks of the year. I think Brooklyn money line, put your house on it, put your 401k. Don't do those things. Only fund disposable income should be put on gambling. That's what the backbone of this show is. But in all seriousness, I love KD tonight. I think this is a Slim Reaper type of game. And I think what we've seen, thank you, Egon.
That is a nice shot. That is a nice shot.
I appreciate it. It's not long. I have a haircut appointment here in sunny Maricopa, and I'm going to shave
Today?
No, not today. Later in the week, in preparation for Ainsworth next week, the 28th.
Yeah.
NFL draft.
A week from tomorrow.
Yeah, we love it. We love to see it. So appreciate it, Egon. But no, we're going to get a Slim Reaper kind of night, and I think he could go off for 45, 10, and 5 tonight.
Well, let's look at your picks then.
Let's do it. Until the Bucks lose to the Chicago Bulls, until Giannis loses to that sorry-ass franchise has really let me down the second half of the season. I think they win. I think they cover. I think the games will be semi-competitive when they go back to Chicago. Not tonight. I just don't think they have the offensive prowess to be able. Bucks defense, you know how good it is. We saw it in the finals last year. And I think, unfortunately, for the Suns and other teams in the East, they're hitting all cylinders here in the month of April. The Nets plus 3.5 is my favorite bet, again, of this postseason thus far. Nets money line, hammer it hard. I think the Celtics, very similar to what happened with the Timberwolves, big emotional victory. The layup that should not have been. I think they come out flat, do the Celtics, and I think the Nets win. I think the Nets win by, goodness, like 8 to 10 points. And then the 76ers, only a 2-point favorite. We've seen in the series it's not going to be close. The Raptors are one of the biggest frauds in the postseason tournament. 76ers are legitimate. I can't wait to see the semifinals in the East. I think it's going to be the most competitive round of basketball we've seen in some time. 6-7 game series. But we got some have-nots here in the Eastern Conference. The Chicagos, right? The Torontos. Get up out of here. We don't want you around. Let's get to some real basketball. Faster they can take care of business, that being the 76ers, the better. What we should be looking for on the West during conference playoffs is, okay, we assume now, Shano, that the Sun series is probably going to go minimum 6 games, I feel like right now, just because of the Devin Booker injury. You don't feel that way. Who is the likely next opponent for the Suns should they advance? And what should we be looking at in terms of hoping that another series goes 6-7 games?
I think this Mavericks Jazz series will go 7 games.
Okay, and that's the team to look. Those are the teams to look out.
Those are the 2 teams you would play. The Mavericks getting Luka back. The Jazz. Neither of these teams really scare me that much. Honestly, I think they match up better against, or the Suns.
They do, because they're not as good offensively.
Well, and it's this whole thing that I always say: the Suns play a team with a superstar, they might as well just lose, because the Suns team defense can lock up that superstar, and the role players aren't good enough. The Mavericks are the better of the 2 teams in terms of matching up with the Suns, because of how many shooters they surround Luka with your Reggie Bullocks of the world who can get hot super fast, your Dorian Finney-Smiths, your Tim Hardaway Juniors, your Jalen Brunsons. The Jazz have a Bogdanovich here and there, but if you shut down Donovan Mitchell, you're not looking to Rudy Gobert to score. Jordan Clarkson can be a flamethrower and a thorn in your side, but both of these teams are just a couple of years away, I think. I think Luka needs to leave or get another star to help him play. And the Jazz are just a team that I've never been scared of in the playoffs. So I think that series goes 7 just because of the matchup with them too. But I think the Mavericks probably come out on top.
That series is what? 1-1 right now?
1-1 right now.
So we needed to go 7 for Devin Booker and his hammy, because we both feel like fairly easily, the Suns team has enough experience, depth to be able to weather the storm without Chris Paul here, or Devin Booker in the first round. Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges, and company. They're going to take care of business. But we want these other series in the Western Conference playoffs outside of Golden State, because we don't need to talk about them today, to go 7 games.
Are you worried about your beloved Nets dropping this game and going
No.
down 2-0? No, sorry. If the Nets do drop this game, are you worried?
I mean, you never want to be down 2-0, but both of these games have taken place in Boston.
Yeah.
So you steal anytime you steal it and you get the home court advantage back and it's 1-1, you feel good about anything. I just feel like the Celtics to me are the consistent overachievers. I like the makeup of their team. I love the fact they build the team the right way. They draft and develop, right? It's the slow play. Remember so many years ago, people wanted Danny Ainge to trade all of his premium prospects for Anthony Davis. Well, thank God he didn't, right? He's probably thinking to himself, I bought myself ample time, within this organization. Here's what I will say. Kevin Durant wants to be considered the best player in the NBA. You cannot lose this series if you're the best player in the NBA. This Boston team, it's a nice story. It's a nice team, but you're not playing Milwaukee in the first round, right? I think Philadelphia's better than the Celtics. If he's the best player in the world and he's got Kyrie Irving playing some of the best basketball we've seen him play in years, and now there's talk of Ben Simmons coming back just as a preliminary defender that's going to play some time. I do not see them losing this game. This is every time that I wanted Kevin Durant to lose as a part of the Golden State Warriors and they were on the ropes, he would put together a generational type performance. I think that's what we get tonight. I think he goes up and we'll talk about it. I can show you my prop right now. His over-under on the evening is 30.5 points. That's a huge number to bet the over on. I'm hammering it. I think he hits it easily because I think if he doesn't have the kind of game like this, a generational performance, they don't win. So everything adds up to, I think, a Brooklyn victory. I think he gets the ball early and often. He goes lights out. And then I do think Brook Lopez and company for Milwaukee against Chicago, 5.5 rebounds. The Bulls have been terrible under the paint this series. Those are the two props I like tonight.
Anything that's an anti-Vucevic prop, I love. Not a fan. So I have 2 picks. I didn't bet on all 3 of the games, and I'll tell you why. Bucks first half, I think, is a lock. That's one of my favorite picks of the day. And then Nets plus 3.5. We talked about this. Whatever. The third game is the Sixers game. The line is now 1.5, Johnny. I don't know why it's so low, so I'm staying the hell away.
Did they watch those first 2 games?
I know. I'm freaked out. I mean, I understand it's in Toronto, but that's a 6-point home court advantage that they're giving them. What's happening?
Well, we've seen it time and time again. James Harden on the road, strip clubs, right? Distractions. We talk about it every year with him. He doesn't do great outside.
We got to get Leah in here. Does Toronto have good strip clubs? Leah, if you're in the chat, can you let us know?
Something tells me probably Leah's probably not the best person to ask about that.
That's fair.
She's got a good heart. She's got a good heart about her. He gets distracted when he leaves his home base, right? We've seen it time and time again. All of those series that he blew when he was in Houston, they were on the road because he would go out and he'd have like a 30% shooting night. He'd shoot like 20% from 3. Vegas knows what they're doing. I just feel like, though I've watched wire to wire both those games to start this series, I thought we were going to get a fun little Raptors team, energetic, competitive, feisty. They've looked completely dejected, and they don't look like a team that wants to continue the season. So Embiid's they don't have anybody that can handle him. So 1.5 points, that's you pound that, you swallow the points, and you run to the bank because of it.
I'm just a little worried after Raptors Awareness Day. I don't think the Raptors were aware of themselves enough.
The Raptors got put down by the T-Rex, and the T-Rex's name's Joel Embiid.
All right, I got 2 props as well. This is another one that I went to a couple weeks ago and was blown away by how low the line is. It is decreased. Tobias Harris, it was points and rebounds last time. I think it was 24. Points and assists, 18.5. Even if he has 2 assists, I think he gets there. I don't understand this. I'm all over this. I'm gonna hammer it. I think they're gonna need to go to somebody else. They're gonna need to defer to a different guy. And I think Tobias Harris is that guy. He's getting max money, so he might as well give you max points and assists as well. And then Giannis, this is one of my favorite bets of the year. I don't think the odds are fantastic. I think it's like minus 130.
Yeah, I saw those too. I was sniffing around that 12.5. So it is for a reason.
I mean, the man gets. I might sprinkle a little bit on it on his 15 rebound mark. You can get that as well at plus money. I think he gets 15, 16. Put that in the same game parlay. Get your insurance on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Do whatever you please, but I love Giannis to go over 12.5 rebounds tonight.
I'm a fan of that. I saw that, almost took it, and I deferred to Brook Lopez because that number seemed so low.
And
So
Vucevic is a little baby.
Yeah, he is. Any anti-Chicago props right now, especially in the paint, I'm all for.
Johnny, anything else before we get out of here?
Yeah, can we get odds on Deebo Samuel's next team? Because I absolutely love to see the destruction of a division rival in San Francisco. Fun fact, for those of you who don't know, in 2020, the San Francisco 49ers inexplicably traded away DeForest Buckner, all-pro defensive tackle, for pick 13 and missed the playoffs. Now there's talk 2 off seasons later, Deebo Samuel potentially going to Houston for pick 13. I think that maybe leads to another non-postseason berth for San Francisco. Love this growing trend where they trade away star players in their prime. Now there's talk that they may not trade him. We're going to be talking about this live, PHNX Cardinals live at 4 p.m. today, as well as Albert Breer, Monday morning quarterback, radar for the Cardinals, pick 23, wide receiver, baby. You absolutely love to see it live at the Ainsworth a week from tomorrow. Wait, when did I don't have a mustache. You know, I can't say mustache correctly. I have to say it like that. It's just triggered in my brain. My desktop computer crapped out, so I have my laptop.
Yeah, how are strip clubs in Toronto? Yeah, how are strip clubs in Toronto?
Were they good? Can't say I've ever been.
Well, do you know any of the down low? Because James Harden might be at one right now.
We feel like James is at a strip club, gentleman's club, maybe as they're called in Toronto.
I feel like he's the type to not even really care about the dancers and just get wings.
Or the breakfast buffet,
mm-hmm.
Ron Swanson style.
What's the best food you've ever had at a strip club, Johnny?
I've had what's when they take the pancake and they put it around a sausage? You know how they do that? I went to one and they did that, and they had some really good hash browns. I've eaten at a strip club before. 100% I have. Real food.
Thanks for tuning in. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at Shane D. If you can follow Johnny on Twitter at Johnny Venerable. He'll give you not strip club updates, but Cardinals updates. Join him live at 4 p.m. right here on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. Follow the show at PHNX_bets, and we'll be back tomorrow. I will be back. Johnny won't be back. Tomorrow.
I'm getting ready for the draft. I'm doing it for you people. I'm in the trenches. I'm working for your props next week.
I'll be back tomorrow with a guest to be named right here on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel at noon. We'll be talking some more odds for the Grizzlies game, the Mavericks game, and the Warriors game in the playoffs. Peace, love, and PRA.